Whether you work in fundraising or communications, chances are you've probably been at a point in your role where you've had to grow into the next level of your success. Whether that's reaching a new fundraising goal, reaching or acquiring new audiences, or maybe something else. This can also be a really challenging time in a fundraising or communications program. And today I'm going to share with you the approach that I use as a consultant to helping organizations figure out the next level goal and how they're going to get there. My name is Vanessa Lockshin, and I'm the president of the Storytelling Nonprofit, a training and consulting company that works with organizations to help them tell stories that raise money and awareness. We do this through a variety of fundraising and communications consulting processes. And when we work with organizations to identify and create solutions to help them reach their next goal, whether it's in fundraising or communications, I think I take a pretty unconventional and fairly specific approach to figuring out what that opportunity is. My philosophy has always been to look for the small hinge that opens a very big door for that organization. I like both that image and the metaphor for it. And I think it's always something that's very helpful to keep in mind when you're trying to figure out strategically where your program is going next. So in my experience, there's almost always overlooked opportunities within fundraising and communications programs. And what you need to do, whether you're doing this work yourself or working with the consultants, is really look for these overlooked opportunities and try to leverage them to help you reach the next big goal that you may have. Sometimes it's easy to identify these opportunities. They're often defined by what's called the Pareto principle, which is where you get 80% of your results from 20% of your efforts. Also sometimes referred to as the 80-20 rule. This is really helpful if you have an established program and you have lots of data and numbers to look at. Looking at those things can help you figure out what to scale back on and where to scale up in terms of your efforts and resources. But sometimes there are things you're doing that maybe you haven't been doing for very long, or maybe there are opportunities you haven't even considered yet. This is where it's also helpful to take a bigger look and maybe not just use the 80-20 rule to figure out what these opportunities are that can get you better results. And I'll give you an example of that. One of our clients last year was Pacific Immigrant Resources Society, and they had hired me to help them work on a communications plan and strategy document for them. And part of that process was to help them develop new key messages that would help them get in front of the right audiences and really expand some of the work that they were doing. Well, it turned out one of the really unique aspects of their work was that as an immigrant services agency, they focused exclusively on programs that served women, immigrants, refugees, and their children. And this was pretty unique compared to the other, say, like half dozen immigrant services agencies in their geographic area. And so identifying this, I really wanted to play it up because my hunch was that that was something unique and interesting about them that would, one, help them stand out, and two, hopefully connect with other audiences who cared about that same aspect of their work. Well, long story short, we did some testing and messaging development, and it turned out that that was, in fact, a really great angle for them to play up. This messaging angle became, I think, the small hinge that opened a very big and new door for them in that it helped them connect with new audiences and connect with their current audiences in a much more significant and I think deep way overall. This is just an example of what this philosophy can look like in action. And I think it's a mindset that's really helpful to go to use and bring back into your organization, whether you're doing long-term planning or just thinking ahead to this next quarter and trying to develop a new plan for your fundraising or communications program. I work with a variety of organizations on fundraising and communications, and if you're interested in working with me in a consulting capacity, I'm going to leave a link just below this video, which you can click to find out more information and find out how to book a consultation call with me. Finally, if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly tips and tutorials on fundraising, communications, and storytelling. You'll find a button in the lower right-hand corner of this video to subscribe.